This is a film about the Army's basic training. It's a 14-week course that takes over 5,000 recruits from all parts of British society on a journey into the British Army. They've all been selected for the course, and they're being screened very carefully to ensure that they can conduct the training in a safe and progressive way.
You have a lot to learn in the 14-week long job interview. That's what this training regime's about.
It's a fascinating course. It teaches them many new skills, but it's not just about learning new skills.
It's now about mentally preparing yourself and physically preparing yourself.
It's about transforming themselves from civilians into soldiers.
So for anybody who's wanting to join, Purbright should be your first choice.
Leaving home that morning, and I was just like a 2-hour car journey. I didn't speak at all. I was just like dead nervous in my head, thinking, oh my god, what have I got myself into? What have I got myself into?
Some people come really scared, some people come really confident, and are really excited, and it also helps the people that have got, families with a little bit of a military background, and also the recruits that come and have done a lot of research to the regiment that they want to join in the British Army.
I think the first thing that Bombardier Pickering said to me when we arrived is, "I'm your new mummy," and she's not quite as sweet as my mummy at home, but she's very helpful, and actually you're better looked after here than you would be in any civilian situation.
Straight away, I was just like, it just felt right, and I just knew I wanted it. Still nervous because obviously you don't know what's coming. Literally followed them around in overalls, and everyone just looks at you that's been here for weeks on end, and you're just like, oh my god. But when you get into it, then you're like, yeah, I know we want to do this.
The first week's very daunting for anybody. If I put myself back, I did not know where I was in the first week. That's really about getting interviews, medicals, your oath of allegiance, getting issued your kit. That's a real massive part of being in the army, is going to the quartermaster's department and getting that kit for the first time. No one's expecting you to know it all. You will be taught everything at slow time. I get to see every recruit in day one, and I see young women and men turning up, bright-eyed, a bit scared.
In person, crown and dignity.
In person, crown and dignity.
And then by the end of the 14-week process, I see professional soldiers who have grown in stature, grown in confidence, grown in attitude, their strength. They look different as well. They look like soldiers.
And the officers sat over me.
And the officers sat over me.
Well done. Many congratulations. You are now officially all members of the Army.
Don't look at these things too far away. They are achievable, and within a short amount of time you will become a British soldier.
Clear, East Springs.
I'm at the start of week 2 and in my first skill at arms lesson.
The skill at arms lesson, we've been trying to learn the basic rifle handling drills.
Now, when the recruits come here, it can be quite daunting for them to actually take control of a live weapon and fire live rounds.
Initially it's taught in the classrooms, so it's just we'll get to see the weapon, what various parts are, what they do.
What we've been doing so far is NSPs, which is normal safety precautions, which is what you're supposed to do when you get the weapon and you check that there aren't any rounds in it and it's safe to use.
Do up the dust cover and back into the high part position. Yeah?
Yes,
Okay, stick your kit back on. So the first 4 weeks is probably going to be the hardest time for the recruits within training, and it's the same for instructors sometimes because the information comes thick and fast. They've constantly got lessons. There's not really that much downtime for them. Stop. What are you doing? What's the first thing you do when you get the word of command? I don't know why you were looking through your sights. I don't know why you were doing that.
You know, it can be very daunting because you're learning new skills all the time.
Drill is a very important subject. It promotes teamwork, it is the foundation for all discipline that we do, and it's basic soldiering, and that's why it's important.
First thing they start off with is drill at the halt, so it's just when they're standing still. So how to salute, how to come to attention, how to stand at ease.
So instead of having a squad of 30 people bumbling around, you get them together, getting all marching, it looks smart.
Even when work's finished of an evening, they've got kit to iron, they've got lessons to get ready for the next day, read up on information and so on and so forth.
And then obviously we've been doing an awful lot of ironing, which I've learned that I'm terrible at. Even though I thought I was really good at ironing, but apparently not, so. We've started PT, but the PT sessions have mostly been introductions to how to do things.
Things have changed now. It used to be the old running around in boots, getting shouted at, but it's not. It's a lot of specific training.
My phys personally is really bad, and when I started on like 15 minutes in my run, and then with the PT sessions and stuff here, I knocked it down by 3 minutes to 12, so it was pretty good.
I don't expect supermen on day one. My advice to them is that even if they're struggling, not to give up. That's the way the army works. Is don't stop. You know, even when things get tough, that we help each other out here.
We take them and we bend them into the shape we require and train them to a good, competent standard.
So the more time you spend on running, sit-ups, press-ups, the key elements that you'll need to be able to carry weight here will help you during training.
It's been hard, physically hard. PT's hard, getting up early, that's hard. It's in a new routine, it's just making you a new person. So it's getting used to it, changing you.
Importantly, the recruits start to operate as part of a team. They embrace the Army's ethos and its values and standards, and they grow in confidence, and that's very apparent.
Just take it day by day. No one's expecting miracles from you from the start. As long as you listen to what you're told and work your hardest, then the rest of it will all fall into place for you.
So what we need to do is ensure that all the weapon handling is up to scratch. So they need to make sure they pass a weapon handling test, which is a minimum acceptable standard for them to go and fire a rifle, so handle a rifle with live rounds.
We're turning them from civilian into a military. Well, it's a difficult job, and there's certain things that they need to do within that. So we teach them from scratch.
As section commanders, we ensure that the recruits go through all the training that they require in order to pass out as trained soldiers after 14 weeks. That'll include specialist lessons.
And then you'll be assessed on how well you do.
But by the time they actually get to the live range and then move on to their marksmanship assessment, they're actually, the dauntingness of handling that weapon and the nervousness is gone, and they can confidently handle it, competently fire it, and hopefully then pass the assessments they set in front of them.
Kirk is now in a natural fighting stance, prepared to assault the enemy. High fire! High fire! Stand very low!
Looking forward to going out on exercise first night, which is our first full time out in the field.
Exercise first night is 2 nights in the field. It's the first opportunity for the recruits to test their individual fieldcraft.
99% of them have never been out and ever even been camping, so it's quite interesting to start off from scratch with recruits.
Really learning your craft as a soldier for the first time, and you know, exercise first night can be very exciting for the recruits, but at the same time they can be very nervous.
It's like out of your comfort zone, and that's what I like, being out of your comfort zone. And I believe that you're never a military soldier from a locker, it's out in the field.
We've been there and done that, so we know how they feel, we know how scared they are, or how much they're looking forward to it.
Decontaminate our hands, decontaminate his gloves. He needs to repeat the procedure again because he's still thirsty. He's going to steady his breath 2 or 3 times. Put a hand in his respirator, lift it, I'll remove the lid, hand in the water bottle. He will drink and swallow without taking a breath.
Well, we've got to do a water bottle test where you, well, emergency one, where you have to take your mask off to drink straight from your water bottle. So you've got to decontaminate your water bottle, take that out, hold it about here, take off your respirator, take a drink, put it back down, put your water bottle back, and then hopefully you don't burn your face.
Hold in the louver cover and purge in a minimum of 2 times. Once he's happy, he's had enough water, he will then give me the thumbs up. Are there any questions on the emergency drinking drill?
Obviously using the respirators to show them the effects of CS gas, what it has on them, and just to show them that if they use the kit correctly, they'll be safe and they'll be free from any mishaps.
As the drill sergeants, I look at the drill that the recruits are doing, the lessons that the permanent staff deliver, and I carry assurances on them lessons, as well as standardising all the parades and being a sounding board for the drill test.
Never been away from my family for that long, and I have quite a close relationship with my parents and my siblings, so to sort of see them at the end of week 7, I was just burst into tears.
The biggest challenge is letting go of my family, being away from home.
When I first told my parents I wanted to join the army, they were a bit apprehensive about it because it's not something that's in the family, it's not something they really knew anything about. I think perhaps they thought it was just another of my mad plans.
In, left, right, left, forward to the right, left, left. Were we even close? No, but we'll work on it. Okay.
The Families Day normally occurs around halfway through the recruits' basic training. It affords the family members the opportunity to come down and view demonstrations put on by the recruits and permanent staff, what they've been doing for the entire time they've been here, over 7 weeks. So for the family members who have no affiliation with the military, they have the perfect opportunity to see what their sons and daughters have been up to.
We've got in front of you is our 5-star hotel. This flimsy little bit of rag here, okay, is everything we need to survive in the field.
The Army recognises the importance of the relationship with close family members to the success of the recruits training. So when they come down, we put on demonstrations with fieldcraft in mind, drill and the other subjects.
But it's nice to actually come down and see where he is, and to be honest, once now we've been here, it's a little bit of a relief. It's a good setup and he's happy doing what he's doing.
So the family members who have never engaged in arduous physical training will get the opportunity to see what their sons and daughters have gotten up to, and when they see the extra muscles they've put on, they'll understand why.
We are very proud, very happy.
It all culminates in the Beret Parade, which is one of the biggest activities that the recruits are looking forward to at this point in training, because they would have been wearing their general service cap badges during this entire time, and it's the first time they get to put on the cap badges that they have chosen for their entire careers. It's a very big moment for the recruits and for the family members that would have been told about this by the recruits themselves.
And that's one of the real highlights for anybody who's joining the army, because they get to wear the cap badge of what they've chose for the first time.
Exercise halfway is 3 nights in the field, and it's their first exercise where they're tested tactically and they're assessed while they're on this. And it's in the local area. They conduct those skills they've learned.
It's a lot of fire manoeuvement, learning things like peeling and what to do if, you know, contacted by the enemy, just sort of skills and drills. A lot of blank firing, like firing blank rounds and stuff like that, so that's all good fun. Admin in the field every morning, which is getting up, having stand to, which is where all your kit has to be packed away and you have to be facing out of the harbour area in a firing position to sort of simulate if the enemy was going to attack you.
Can they cook? Can they clean themselves? Can they brush their teeth? Sometimes they might struggle about this in camp. So in the field, it's paramount they get this right.
There's big elements of hygiene in it, because obviously you can understand being out there, you get quite sweaty, you get quite dirty, so you have to have a wash and get all the cam cream off your face, shave, brush your teeth, powder your feet. A lot of people get out onto the exercise area and they're like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. Oh my God, this isn't for me. Me personally, I love all the outdoorsy sort of camping stuff, so I really enjoy being on exercise, like sleeping outside and doing all that.
What we've seen today is we've been around a few war graves, both Commonwealth and British, just basically walking around to see what they did in the First World War, 1914 to 1918.
Exercise Valiant Spirit is an opportunity for them to experience the horror of war, especially in the museum when they see pictures. You know, people have been sorted and dead, have been exploded. It's just a time to ask questions and also to respond to that as well.
The Men in Gate Parade, so every day people have yeeps, they basically host a remembrance service in order to thank the Allied forces from obviously liberating Belgium in the First World War. So it's quite remarkable to feel it's surreal how the feeling is when you're standing here and watching it happen.
The Soldier Development Wing is part of the initial training group, so as part of their basic training, the recruits then come down and they undertake a week of outdoor activities. There'll be 4 main outdoor activities that they undertake through the week. The hill walking and navigation day is set up as a training day with an assessment element throughout the day, but the other days, the caving, the climbing and then canoeing, is set up so that the students experience something new, something perhaps they haven't done before, undertaking new skills in hopefully a new environment.
And that's looking at your mental agility and your capacity to deal with pressure, how you cope with stress, because sometimes going up a high obstacle is not what everybody wants to do. But once you've seen your friends doing that, it becomes part of the team, part of the bonding process.
You've got the comfort zone, then the massive stretch zone, and then the panic zone, and they want to kind of get you into that stretch zone, not into the panic zone.
I'm a bit of an adventurer. I like to be outside. I like to be doing all these crazy stuff like kayaking and rock climbing and caving. Even though everyone says caving's really scary, I'm quite looking forward to it.
It's very confined spaces. And at one point they may switch all your lights off, so it's like pitch black, and you've got to guide yourself through small compact spaces with just people holding on to the back of you. So it's really challenging.
Today's been sort of a bit of canoeing, kayaking. There's been 2 of us who've been doing some team activities, some team efforts. It's all good fun and basically kind of overcoming your fears. So there's that stretch. But you know, your coping mechanisms and how you learn to deal with it, and it's good fun, good day out. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's a very short time to have the recruits, but through the elements of the activities you can certainly see them change within the day. I think their staff would report they could see huge changes with them throughout the week. It's great to see them come on in such confidence and self-awareness and ability.
Target, you are to double forward to the firing point and adopt the kneeling supported position. From there, you will fire 1 round at each exposure.
We maintain the highest calibre of soldiers, training NCOs and warrant officers and officers. They all must have a operational background, so they need to be current. So they have a vast array of skills that they can pass on to our soldiers.
They're led on this journey by instructors who are carefully selected and trained for the role. It's a hugely demanding role for them, but they take great satisfaction. We all know that the benefits and the experience of the recruits during these 14 weeks last a lifetime.
individually, so you're standing there, everyone's masked, and then you unmask one by one, say your rank, name, number, and then as soon as it starts affecting you, they let you out. But no idea how long they'll make us stand in for this time.
Exercise Final Fling is 4 nights in the field, and it's a confirmatory exercise for the recruits for the full CMS.
It seems more real and realistic compared to halfway. So you go out day-to-day basis, you do patrols, and in those patrols you get different scenarios that occur. So we basically had a section attack and put everything that we've learned in the last 13 weeks into practice and then just put it all together.
Any casualties? The casualties! Equipment! Go! Equipment everyone, equipment! Equipment everyone!
Most instructors will tell you the favourite is a passing out parade. Obviously you get to see them with the families and things like that. The families all come down to look at it. And if you get a good number, you got a good 600 or 700 within the stand all watching on. And it's quite humbling, quite a good day for everyone. It brings you back to your own memories from when you did yours as well.
The stands are full with families, friends, but this is day one of the next chapter as they move on to their trade training, having now passed out of basic training.
He suddenly become a man.
Definitely changed him. He's a bit more responsible now. He's planning things, and Jordan never plans anything.
Yeah. This is a massive, massive career. We never know where he's going to be, when he's going to go on tour. So it is worrying for a mum, but at the end of the day, this is all he's ever wanted to do. This was his dream, and he's achieved it. We're very, very proud.
They could be very proud of what they've achieved in their time here, and they are then well set to progress on to phase 2, the second stage of their basic training, and if I'm honest, for whichever route their life takes thereafter.
And watching them walk out the gate as a trained soldier, knowing that in the future I might cross paths with that individual, knowing that I had a big part to play in that person becoming the soldier they are, that's quite rewarding.
But this, of course, is just the beginning. They leave here and they learn the skills and the trades that they will fulfill in their army careers. But they won't forget what they've learned here.
"14 weeks is nothing. To work hard for 14 weeks is absolutely nothing.
Just go for it, give it all you've got, and it is one of the best things to ever do in your life.
They are rightly very proud of their achievements, and they're well set to go on to trade-specific training that follows.
It is so hard, but it's so rewarding at the same time to see how much you've changed.
So what we've done, we've turned them from a civilian into a soldier.
We are being looked after here very, very well by the NCOs and the officers, and we're being given great opportunities.
All instructors within Pirbright are really approachable. We're on call whenever they need us.
They're always there and just like reassure you that this is a good career, this is why they're still in this career. Even their experiences and stuff like that, they tell you about that makes you want it more.
18 years I've been in, I've been all over the world, done all sorts of things, adventure training, operational tours, etc. It's been outstanding.
You could get deployed out anywhere in the world.
Qualifications, money, travelling and a career at least for 4 years, you know, you've got the stability really.
Everyone knows what the army is. Everyone knows it's a great thing to be away from home and doing. It's not a normal job, but it's an amazing thing to be doing, and that in itself is just a big reassurance.
The Army has huge benefits. There's no negatives really. The Army is an outstanding place to be.
I enjoy this life all round, all together. This is definitely a life for me.